Though the first lesson is solid state, we start with the solutions. As you know, solution is a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Solution with the two components is called a binary solution. And obviously, binary solution has two components, and the two components are called solute and solvent. Again, as you know, solute is the component which is present in small quantity, and a solvent is the component which is present in large quantity. For example, in a sugar solution, you know that sugar is the solute and water is the solvent. Then, based on the physical state, solutions can be classified into solid solutions, liquid solutions, and gaseous solutions. Solid solution, as the name indicates, exists in the solid state, and that is the larger component solvent will be in the solid state. Same way, liquid solutions exist in liquid state, solvent in them will be liquid. And in gaseous solutions, they exist in gaseous state, solvent will be a gas. Then the solid solution can be of three types: solid dissolved in solid, like copper dissolved in gold, alloys, and liquid dissolved in solid, like mercury dissolved in sodium metal, sodium amalgam, and a gas dissolved in solid, like hydrogen gas dissolved in palladium. Same way, liquid solutions can be three types: solid dissolved in liquid, liquid dissolved in liquid, gas dissolved in liquid. Also, gaseous solutions can be solid dissolved in gas, liquid dissolved in gas, and gas dissolved in gas. Like air is a solution having major components nitrogen and oxygen. Then the solid solutions, and that is a solution in which solute is solid, solvent is also solid. They can be of two types: substitutional solid solution and interstitial solid solution. In substitutional solid solution, atoms of one component displace a few atoms of the other component in its crystal lattice. For example, brass. In brass, atoms of zinc displace atoms of copper from its crystal lattice. Then interstitial solid solution, in this, small atoms of one component go into the interstitial sites of the other component. For example, tungsten carbide. Small carbon atoms go into the interstitial sites of tungsten crystal lattice. Then concentration of liquid solutions. How to express concentration of liquid solutions? Now, qualitatively, we say solution is a dilute solution or a concentrated solution, and that means concentration, the amount of solute present in the solution, and depends on, of course, solubility of the solute in the given solvent. And now we can express concentration of liquid solutions in different ways. One, mass percent meaning out of 100. So mass percentage is the mass of the component present in 100 grams of the solution. So we can express that using this equation. Same way, volume percentage, volume of the component present in 100 ml of the solution. Then mass by volume percentage, mass of the component present in 100 ml of the solution. Then another way by which we express concentration is ppm. It's called parts per million. When the amount of the solute present is very, very small, it will be highly inconvenient for us to express the concentration as mass percent, volume percent, etc. And therefore, we express it as ppm or parts per million. And that is, we are considering 1 million parts by mass or by volume of the solution. And in that, how many parts by volume or mass of the component is present, and that is ppm. and that is ppm is mass of the component divided by mass of the solution into 10 raised to 6, meaning 1 million. Then another important method by which we express concentration is molarity, represented by capital M. It is defined as the number of moles of the solute present in 1 liter of the solution. And therefore we can write the expression as M equals N solute by V solution in liters. So it's very clear from this unit is mole per liter. And since normally volume is given in milliliters, we can write the equation as N solute divided by V solution in ml into 1000. Then again, as is very clear from the equation, molarity depends on volume of the solution. And you know that volume varies with temperature. And since volume varies with temperature, molarity also varies with temperature. So with increase in temperature, volume increases and hence molarity decreases. Then the next one is molality, represented by small m. It is the number of moles of solute present in 1 kilogram of the solvent. And therefore, M equals N solute by W solvent in kg. And when the mass is given in grams, we can write it as N solute by W solvent in grams into 1000. Again, from the equation it's very clear, molality depends on mass of the solvent, and we know that mass will not vary with temperature, and therefore molality is independent of temperature. And this is one major difference between molarity and molality. Molarity varies with temperature, while molality is independent of temperature. The next important method by which we express concentration is mole fraction. Now, mole fraction means number of moles as fraction, meaning how many moles of a component are present in the total number of moles. So, for example, if we have two components, one with the number of moles N1 and the other N2, then total number of moles present in that solution is N1 plus N2. Out of this N1 plus N2, N1 moles of component 1 and N2 moles of component 2 are present. Therefore, mole fraction of component 1 equals, represented by chi or say x, x1 equals N1 by N1 plus N2. Same way, x2 is equal to N2 by N1 plus N2. And again, it's very clear from this, if you add both, that is x1 plus x2 or chi1 plus chi2, you always get 1. And this is true for all the solutions irrespective of the number of components present. And that is even if this solution has 100 components, when we add the mole fractions of all the components together, it will always be 1. And that is the sum of mole fractions of all the components present in a solution is 1.